Life Church Winslow is a group of friends from across Cheshire East who are on a journey of faith and friendship. Together we're learning to love God, to love people, and to really love life. Our expression of that is through two channels right now: live streams, just like this, and life groups. Our live streams go live every Sunday. We meet together online at 10:15 for just 30 minutes of inspiration and connection on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and on our website at lifechurchwinslow.org. And every other week we have a coffee Zoom together after church to catch up, to connect and find out how everyone is doing. Then in the week we have life groups. There's 3 to choose from right now, each one distinctive, but each one welcoming, friendly, and open for you to just be yourself and again to connect with friends. All the information and email addresses to get in touch are on our website. We'd love to hear from you. But right now, get ready, lean in, engage, and enjoy today's live stream.
To today's live stream. So glad you've tuned in. Wherever you're watching from, we always love hearing from you and where you're watching from. So whether you have tuned in for the first time or have been following us for a while now, we for sure love to connect with you, and we would love for you to connect with us right here. So simply type us a hi or hello, an emoji, or where it is you're watching from. Help us connect with you. Also, after this 30-minute live stream, our second part of meeting together will be a short coffee Zoom. So you can zoom in 5 minutes after the stream ends for a coffee and a catch up. And the link that will show up here at the end, in the comments. Now, we are in March. We're in the month where the first lockdown restrictions will be lifted. I, for one, cannot wait for the 29th of this month. As I'm sure many of you feel the same about these 2 specific restrictions being lifted. I am going to read them right now from the government website to make sure I don't cause any confusion. So here we go. From the 29th of March, outdoor gatherings, including in private gardens, of either 6 people, the rule of 6, or 2 households will be allowed outdoors. How exciting is that? The second one. Outdoor sports facilities such as tennis and basketball courts and open-air swimming pools will also be allowed to reopen, and people will be able to take part in formally organized outdoor sports. So that sounds very promising as well for those who love sports. We get to mingle a bit more outdoors. And I realized that one of these might be a bit more your thing than the other. So for a little bit of interaction here right now, I would love for you to get on your device and type into the comments your response to the next question. Here we go. Which one of these 2 are you looking forward to the most? And what is the first thing you are hoping to do with that? Now go, type it in, share it with each other, respond to each other. I'm going to tell you a little bit about mine. For people who know me, they already know that it's definitely the first one for me. As much as I love meeting people one-to-one, which actually helped me being intentional, I would say, over the last year to be meeting up with people and get to know people personally on a one-to-one level. So it has been really good, and it has been a very precious time to have one-on-ones with people. But I cannot wait to be able to meet up with a few more people in the same space. And the first thing I hope to do with that is to check the weather forecast and start inviting people into our small backyard for either a simple coffee or a lunch. So that is me. Now, I'm curious to see what you have typed into the comments and love to read it. And let's plan some things to happen outdoors. Right. Now for today. Paul, in his talk today, is going to speak on what is the big question? What is the big question? I hope that gets you curious, and I hope you're ready to discover that together. Also, we have a 3-minute personal story coming to us again. This time it's John, and John shares with us his challenge with his disability, his journey with God through that, and where that took him in life. But first, right now, we have a song coming up from a group called People and Songs. This is a group, we've recently discovered this group on YouTube, and it's a group of young people who write new worship songs together based on Bible scriptures, and this song is a proclamation of who God is. We love this song. Listen to this. It is all about that whatever comes our way, God never changes. He is our constant.
You never change. You stay the same. My rock, you're everything I'll ever need. You're ever near, so present here. My help, you're everything I'll ever need. Jesus, you're greater than my fear. So come hell or high water, you're still on the throne. You are faithful and able. You're in control, there's no question about it. You're king over all, and I know who you are. Yes, I proclaim I know who you are, God.
Oh, you'll be my strength. You'll be my peace. Oh, my God, forever you'll be strong in me. So come hell or high water, you're still on the throne. You are faithful and able. You're in control, there's no question about it. You're king over all, and I know who you are. So come hell or high water, you're still on the throne. You are faithful and able. You're in control, there's no question about it. You're king over all, and I know who you are.
You are steady, constant.
I have this confidence.
Your mercy, goodness.
I have this confidence.
Oh, awesome and mighty.
I have this confidence.
Hey, I know
who you are. Defender, healer, you are my confidence. Protector, shepherd, you are my confidence. Jesus, Savior, you are my confidence. And I know who you are. Yes, I know who you are. So come hell or high water, you're still on the throne. You are faithful and able. You're in control, there's no question about it. You're king over all, and I know who you are. So come hell or high water, you're still on the throne. You are faithful and able. You're in control, there's no question about it. You're king over all, and I know who you are. I know who you are. I know who
Basically, I was born 8 weeks premature and I was born with cerebral palsy. I got told by the doctors I wouldn't walk, talk, I'd be taken care of by the state. Between the age of 3 and 5, I had to have 5 operations. Took the first steps when I was about 5 and a half, and then I had to have intense speech and physiotherapy for about 5-6 years. The first time I noticed my disability really was when I went to high school. I felt like I was a bit of a target on my back. It was quite intense with some of the stuff that I was being called. I looked in the mirror, I had to ask myself the question, do you believe what people say about you? Do you believe the names you've been called, or do you believe what God says about you? And I started to think differently, going, right, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? I got told I wouldn't walk, I wouldn't talk, I wouldn't have any kind of normal thing. But I started to dream, I wanted to be married, I wanted to have a career, I wanted kids. Having a disability like I've got, you kind of think people would look at that and not at me as a person. And Stacey obviously didn't marry me because of my disability, she married me because of me as a person. And I've been really fortunate and blessed to have 2 children, Samuel and Esther. When I got to my 30s, I started to think completely different, not of, oh, John's got a disability, but what can I do with that? How can I impact other people with disabilities? And it got to the point where I actually was at a place where I think I was born for a reason and a purpose, and that was to reach out to other people with actual disabilities. My passion is reaching people seeing and unseen disabilities and let them know that they were born for a purpose and a reason. That's why I'm starting Enable.
Years ago, I started speaking in high schools for the first time when I was around 18 years of age. It was an absolute baptism of fire. Twice a week for a few years, I would turn up early in the morning with a PA system under my arm, sometimes a guitar, some scribbled notes on a pad, and lots of anxiety. I mean, pure fear. The teachers would open up with some announcements and they would leave for like a coffee and leave me on my own with around 300 teenagers. It was like every week, it was like Daniel in the lion's den. Like, hey kids, here's some fresh meat, enjoy, see you later. And I remember one time a series I did about God, and I said the most important question in life is, do you believe in God? It was a great message. I used music and videotapes. Do you remember those videotapes to illustrate my points? It was awesome, but it was totally wrong. I've learned since then that the most important question in life for most people is not, do they believe in God? There's another question that's more important than that. I was reminded of that this week. You see, during lockdown, I often use my personal exercise time, which is walking in our local park, to meet people and just simply catch up. I especially love to talk to people who wouldn't class themselves as Christians per se, not the church-going types. I love to hear their history and their life stories. It's a great opportunity for me to shut up, stop speaking, and hear their views, and often their hurts as well. So this past week, 2 guys I talked to kept coming back to the most important question, the big question of life. They would both say, as any intelligent person would, of course there's a God. There must be. Just look at creation, look at intelligent design. It just makes sense. In fact, only a fool would disagree with that, right? Now, Don't email me. Email me. I'm not calling you a fool. I'm not saying that. Actually, David said that. Remember David, the guy who said, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." You remember that? Well, he actually said that in Psalm 14, verse 1. Only the fool would say in his heart that there is no God. But these guys struggled with a bigger question than that. So what question did they have? Well, it's found in the Bible. I want to read to you today just a couple of verses from the book of Hebrews in the New Testament from the Message translation. So reading from Hebrews chapter 11, starting at verse 5. It says this: "It's impossible to please God apart from faith." And why? Because anyone who wants to approach God must believe both that he exists and that he cares enough to respond to those who seek him. Now, I'm pretty sure most people watching today would say, yeah, I believe in God. But there's a second part to this verse that so often we just skip and we miss. It says anyone who wants to approach God must believe, both. That means there's two things. Both that he exists, and that also he cares enough to respond to those who seek him. Here's the question you and I really want to know. It's not, do I believe in God? But the question is, does God believe in me? Does God believe in me? Think about that for a moment. Now the emphasis is not on me, but it's on God, not on what I'm doing, but on what God is doing. Hey, whoever needs to hear this morning, whoever struggles with how God sees them, God does believe in you. And maybe you just want to take a minute to pause and think about that. God believes in you. Consider that as we listen to a great song by one of my favourite artists called Jill Phillips. And I'll be back in a few seconds to prove to you from God's word that it's absolutely true. God believes in you.
When you start to doubt if you exist, God believes in you. Confounded by the evidence, God believes in you. When your light burns so dim, and when your chances seem so slim, and you swear you don't believe in him, God believes in you. When you rise up just to fall again, God believes in you. Deserted by your closest friends, God believes in you. And when you're betrayed with a kiss and you turn your cheek to another fist, it does not have to end like this, 'cause God believes in you. Oh, everything matters if anything matters at all. Everything matters no matter how big, no matter how small, 'cause God believes in you. Oh, God believes in you. When you're so ashamed that you could die, God believes in you. And you can't do right even though you try, God believes in you. Blessed are the ones who grieve, the ones who mourn, and the ones who bleed. In sorrow you sow, but in joy you'll reap. God believes in you. Yeah, blessed are the ones who grieve, the ones who mourn, and the ones who bleed. In sorrow you sow, but in joy you'll reap. God believes in you. Oh, God believes in you.
Does God believe in you? Absolutely, yes, absolutely he does. And the Bible has, well, it has too many examples that prove it. Here's just a couple from the book of Matthew this morning. In Matthew chapter 8, it's the account of a leper who came to Jesus. Matthew chapter 8, verse 2. It says this: Jesus came down from the mountain with the cheers of the crowd still ringing in his ears. Then a leper appeared and dropped to his knees before Jesus, praying, "Master, if you want to, you can heal my body." Jesus reached out and touched him, saying, "I want to. Be clean." Then and there, all signs of the leprosy were gone. Wow. As a leper, in those days, he was classed as unclean. You didn't talk to lepers, you avoided them. Talk about quarantining, talk about isolation. You didn't talk to a leper, you didn't see lepers. They were confined to their own space in a colony. They were abandoned by society and sadly even shunned by, if you like, the church of the day. But this guy believed in Jesus. He believed in God, so much so he actually broke the law of the day, came out into public to get healed. But when he came to Jesus, he was basically saying this. He was saying, I know you can, Jesus. I know you, Jesus. I know you've helped others. I've seen you help others. I've seen you care about other people. I've seen you heal and save. I believe you can. But the big question that I've got in my heart, Jesus, is this: do you want to? Do you want to touch me? Do you want to change me? Do you want to heal me? And the leper was saying, I'm not sure because my life is a mess. I'm not too sure. I'm not in your church. I feel worthless. I feel abandoned. Jesus, do you even know me? Jesus, do you care? Do you believe in me? Jesus, do you want to help me? And Jesus replied, I want to. Those three powerful, powerful words. Yeah, I want to. I believe in you, my friend. And his life at that moment was transformed by those words. A few chapters later, Matthew chapter 14, I've not got time to read it this morning, but check it out. Matthew chapter 14 is the account of Jesus walking on the water to his disciples. And you remember the story around verse 28, Matthew 14:28. Peter, a leader, if you like, in the church of Jesus. Peter, one of Jesus' inner circle of friends and disciples, a man of solid belief. He believed in Jesus as God. But on this dark, dark night, something had happened in his heart. And he's not too sure he knows who this person is walking on the water. And he shouts from the boat, if it's really you, Jesus, if it's really you, ask me to come and walk on the water too. What's Peter saying? Peter's in effect saying this: I believe in you. I believe you can do amazing things like walk on water and turn water into wine and raise people from the dead. You're God. I believe it with all of my heart. But do you believe I can do that? Jesus, do you believe in me? That's the question behind Peter asking, hey, Jesus, if it's you, ask me to also walk on the water. And what was Jesus' response? Yeah, I do. I believe in you. Come on, get out of the boat. I believe in you, Peter. You can do it. And Peter walked on the water. He actually broke scientific laws in those few moments and he walked on water. Get this. He didn't just walk on water. He walked on the confidence. He walked on the understanding that God believed in him. And when it comes to Jesus, there's one thing both Christians and non-Christians are often not too sure about. Does the God of the universe, the maker of heavens and earth and the galaxies, does he believe in me? Now, on your best days, you might almost believe it. You know what I'm saying? When you wake up at 4 a.m., pray for an hour before studying your Bible in Hebrew and Greek. And on the same day, you lead your office colleagues to Jesus and you pray for the guy in the wheelchair outside Starbucks and he gets up and he walks. Yeah. On those days, you can almost believe it. But what about your worst days? Do you really know that Jesus believes in you on those days as well? When your life hits the fan? When the doctor says it's bad news, when your boss says it's your last day, when your family falls apart, when your child rings you from the police station. Listen, Even when you start doubting if you even know Jesus anymore, even when you doubt whether you even believe in him anymore, I've got great news for you this morning. Jesus never stops believing in you. Now, I've raised 3 kids pretty successfully. And one secret is I've always told my kids, whatever you want to be, wherever you want to go, I believe in you as your father. I believe you can do it. And I believe there's nothing more empowering than that. And today, Jesus wants you to know this morning, he believes in you. Even when you're not even sure if you believe in him. We all go through seasons of doubt. We all go through sometimes long, dark periods of not knowing even whether God's there. But when the road has been long and when the battles have raged and you've been knocked down and you feel like you can't go on again and you're not sure whether God is there for you, he comes to you and he says, I know you. I know your name. I know your situation, and I believe in you. You can go again. You can succeed. It's not over. And how do we know all of this? Because Hebrews 11 tells us that anyone and anyone watching today who comes to God must both believe in him and believe in his care and his love and his concern for them. So be encouraged, my friend, today. God believes in you. It's not based on your performance. It's not based on your list of religious things that you think you need to do to please him. No, it's based on his crazy, unconditional love for you. God believes in you.
God believes in us only based on his crazy, unconditional love. Love that. Hope you take this into your week to digest it and talk about with each other. And we cannot stress enough how important we believe it is to connect. And we encourage you to get in touch with us through the different platforms. Check out the website, check out the live groups on the website. Send us an email. We would love to continue to talk about these things with you. So get in touch. Also, right now, we're going to go and have a coffee soon. So in about 5 minutes after the stream ends, you can zoom in and the link will show up right now in the comments. So hope to see you there and have a catch up with you. Grab your coffee and join us and see you there. And if not, have a great week.